Hello everybody, playing around with some settings and hopefully everything's working. Let me know that audio and video is working. It looks like it's working. And let me get the fishy cam up. There we go. And all the fun stuff. It's good to see everybody. Merry frickin' Christmas. Or should I say Fishmas. Hope everybody had a great day. And I decided I was doing a live stream. Last weekend I was talking about I don't know if I'd do one. And I for sure wanted to do one. So there were some super chats before the stream started. So I want to get into that. First up was Mike with the 614 super chat. And then Matt F followed him up with another 614 super chat. And then Del Parkinson with the $8 super chat. She said, "Merry Christmas, Steven. Give your little Fahaka buddy a treat for me." I will, and I actually just fed him probably about an hour ago. He had some mysis shrimp. But Nick says, "What does your shirt say?" It says, "Keep your mask on. This is the way." Can you guys see that? I actually got this for Christmas. My mom bought it for me, but I got it. Like, I bought it for myself, and then she basically bought it from me as a Christmas present. But, yep, it says, "Keep your mask on. This is the way." So if you watch The Mandalorian, it makes perfect sense. But thank you, everybody, for the Super Chats tonight. I appreciate that. And glad to see a lot of people came over from OFR's live stream. And, yeah, so tonight, it's kind of a Christmas, don't really have anything planned. I will drop the Fahakas name. And, you know, we were going through, I was going through all the names that people were voting on. And there was 2 or 3 that I really liked. And I thought about it all week. And I was like, you know, looking at them, like calling them this. I was, you know, Chomper, Bruce, Gizmo, like all the names that were out there. But there was one that once I just like kind of thought about it, it just kind of stuck with them. So I will drop the name, and of course it's going to be a cliffhanger. We're going to wait a little while before I tell you guys the Fahakas name. Some of you are going to like it, some of you are not going to like it, but hey, I'm the one that has to live with it, so I did come down to a final choice. Anyway, and thank you everybody for participating in all the votes. It was really annoying because I can only do 5 choices per post, so I was doing a bunch of posts, and I had to redo all the posts like the next level of voting. But yeah, Patty, good to see you. Ray Aquatics, everybody else that's here, Von Yenzer. Appreciate you guys hanging out. I hope you guys had a great day. I don't have to work tomorrow, so that's awesome. And yeah, we had a short day yesterday. We got off work a little early, and tradition is the not technicians, but some of the technicians will go to the bar right after work. We'll have a couple drinks, and then everybody has like family stuff to do. We end up going back to our service manager's house, which is a block away from my house, which is super sweet. He has like a finished garage with like a pool table. It's heated. It's really nice. So we went back, and there was pool and also like ping pong and foosball. So it was fun. So I did that last night, and then I went to my parents' house this morning. Our tradition is my mom makes like a big breakfast. And by big breakfast, I mean it's like everything you could think of. It's basically, if you think of Big Rich's Bitchin' Kitchen. And my mom has her own bitchin' kitchen, so it's awesome. And then my nephews come, so it's fun to watch them open presents, and they're all excited. And my nephew got from my sister and her husband. It's called the Oculus. If you guys don't know, you probably know what it is, but if you don't know, it's a virtual reality like headset. And so I tried that, and it was crazy. I feel like it's like one of those things where I would impulse buy one. I didn't play like the games or anything on it. I did like a tutorial, but it was so realistic. Like it blew my mind with like the training app on it, where you can like see your fingers move, and like you're like a robot. Like it was nuts. It blew my mind at how crazy it was. And you can look all the way around you, and they had like a roller coaster one. I didn't do it because everybody wanted like turns trying it. But they had like a roller coaster, and I think there was like a fighter jet, and it's like a real video. And you can like look around as you're flying. But I don't know. It's got like an in-system app where you can download like games and interactive stuff. It was crazy. Technology these days, it's getting out there. But really, 2233's here. Hello. Texas Fish Room. If you guys aren't subbed to Texas Fish Room, he just did a koi pond. I saw a video, I think it dropped today. So check out that video. And Texas Fish Room has like this big detached garage, which is something I wish I had so I could do a massive fish room. But he's been building it out and posting videos as he goes. So check that out. And then what I'm thinking of other like YouTubers, somebody that I just found out that I never heard of before, which it's a big channel, and I'm sure some of you might have heard of them if you're into like planted tanks. I believe it's like MD. I don't know if it's like MD fish tanks or MD planted tanks, but it's MD something, and he's over in Europe. I don't know if he's in like England, or I don't know where he's at, but he's definitely over in Europe, and his content's really good. And he does his fish room. He calls it a studio. It's in a shed in his backyard, which I thought was really cool. That he took such a small space and made it really awesome. So that was really cool. And they're all like display tanks, but he did a really good job with the space that he has. But he's got some really nice tanks, and that's somebody that I just started following this week. And I watched a bunch of his videos. His content's really good. So if you guys haven't seen MD, check him out. Punchy's here, which is Pam. Hey Pam, I hope you're doing well. I don't know if you got a ton of snow. We got snowed on last night. It was one of those things where I didn't know it was supposed to snow, and we probably got like 5 inches overnight, which I love. I love snow. I hate when it's winter and it's 10 degrees outside and there's no snow, because then you just have like trees with no leaves. You got brown grass. Everything's just a muck. But with snow, everything's covered. The trees look nice. So if it's going to be freezing, I at least want snow. And when I woke up bright and early this morning, I think it was about 7 o'clock, I let the dogs out and I opened the door, and it was 5 inches of snow. I was like, whoa. And so normally my street, the city plows it like immediately, because it's like a main school bus line. But because school isn't in session this week because of like vacation, and honestly, they might be doing all online, but they didn't plow or salt my street, so I got to go. And with my truck, it's 4-wheel drive, but I'm the guy that drives around in 2-wheel drive, so it purposely is sliding all over the road, and it's drifting. So I was doing that this morning on the way to my parents' house, and then once I got out to like the main roads, there was the people with like their hazards on, driving really slow. That's when I put my truck in 4-wheel drive and just went blowing by them like peasants. Get out of here with your cars that are getting stuck. But I don't know. I love the snow when it comes to being winter. But hopefully my chat, I'm using the Streamlabs chat, and I'm hoping it's keeping up. It looks like it's doing a good job tonight. And I am in live chat. But did anybody get anything fish related for Christmas? That's what I'd want to know. So with presents, like my sister usually gives me like what's the word I'm looking for? Usable stuff. Like, it used to be like you try to get them some sort of cool present, and then I'm the person that's like, give me something that I'm going to use that I'm not going to have to buy myself. Like, one year I asked, I don't know, my sister, or if it was my parents, I'm like, laundry detergent. Like, buy me that so I don't have to buy it. Like, you don't need to buy me crazy gizmos. So I know one year, as a joke, my sister bought me a bunch of, like, canned foods. Like, I don't know, there was, like, jelly, there was deodorant, stuff like that, consumables. And that's what I wanted for Christmas from them. This year, I got, like, some coffee. It's Starbucks coffee, which I don't drink. If it's given to me, I drink it, but I don't go out and, like, buy Starbucks. But it's these little cans, and it's like, think of like a tuna can of coffee. That's, you pop the top and you dump, and it's coffee grounds, and you dump it in. It's like one pot worth of coffee. So kind of think of a K cup for individual cups, but this is for making a pot. And I don't know how many cans there's in a box, but she got me a box of that. My aunt got me a coffee travel mug that is actually, it's my logo. It's the SE Aquatics logo. So that was pretty cool. It's kind of like, ooh, I already spilled some coffee, but it's like this coffee mug, but in a travel mug. I'm trying to think what else. Some disposable travel mugs, which I don't think I've seen before. It's like a really thin, and it's Starbucks. I don't know if it's like plant-based, because they have these like plant-based utensil stuff now that is biodegradable, but it says it's a disposable travel mug. So I'm guessing, like, if you're going somewhere and you know that, like, once you get there, you gotta throw it away. Maybe it's, like, for that, which is kind of cool. So I don't know. Like, maybe you have a cup of coffee and you're going to a movie theater or some restaurant and you can't take it in, but you don't want to, like, hold on to it. You can, like, toss it out. I don't know. It's kind of cool, but, so, that's the kind of stuff I got. Nothing actually, like, fish-related, nor did I ask for anything fish-related. My parents usually give me some cash to buy that kind of stuff. Usually it's like gift cards or something like that. Typically I ask for like an Amazon gift card, because then I can buy whatever I want off of Amazon. And then my dad does this like grab bag with it's a bunch of random stuff, usually from like Harbor Freight or whatever. And he just has a bag, and then like my sister, brother-in-law, and then my aunt, that's always there. We kind of pick what we want. And actually, one of the things is right here that I'm using. It's a mouse pad. Like, this was in the grab bag. I'm like, I don't have a mouse pad. I'm taking that. So I grabbed that out of the grab bag. And then there was, like, one of those, like, 4-in-1 screwdrivers where it's, like, it's a Phillips and flathead, but it's got, like, the two different sizes. And you can change the parts out. I always try to grab tools because I can never have enough tools. And somehow with screwdrivers, I always lose them here at the house. At work, I never lose a screwdriver. But here at the house, I go through screwdrivers like crazy, and I don't know where they end up, because, I'm the only one that lives here, and somehow I lose them, and I don't know how that's possible, but, so I always grab those things. There's some, like, mini wood clamps, which were really cool, so I grabbed those. I know last year he had, like, some, like, big ratchet straps, which I used to haul the Ohio fish rescue stands. It's not like it's not the little ratchet straps, it's like the real thick, heavy duty ones. So I got that last year at Christmas, and I use those quite a bit. But yeah. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do with the money I got from Christmas? Other than obviously, like, I got paid this month's bills or whatever, but whatever I have spare. And I really want to get a new digital camera. I have a Nikon digital camera that I bought, at least 10 years ago. It's probably 15 years old at this point. It's outdated by digital camera standards for sure. But I want to get one that does video, so that way I can do a little bit more higher quality videos. My phone does a good job with like the general vlogging, but I really want to get like some good fish photos. And there's a couple cameras and digital cameras that do like video. They're really expensive when they're new, so I've been looking at like last year's models, like on eBay used. So I'm keeping my eye out for that. So if anybody does good photo work with fish, because my Nikon does great photos of non-moving things. But right now there's like a new Nikon Z50, I think is the model that's out that I was looking at. And then my buddy has, which I need to reach out to him and see if he'll let me borrow it, but it's a Panasonic. It's one like the Lumix series. So I might see if he'll let me borrow it for a weekend, and that way I can try it and see if I like it or not. He had a Lumix G7, which I used when I first started my fish channel. I borrowed it for a few weeks from him. And the video was great. I liked the video on it, but I wasn't overly impressed with the photos, which is usually the opposite. Usually the cameras do really good photos, and then the video is like where the pros and cons are. Granted, I'm a little rusty when it comes to digital photography because I haven't done it in a long time. I used to take, in high school I took photography classes, and then I was really big into it through college, and then just, nowadays I just use my phone to take pictures, but I want to get back into it and get some good pictures, especially these guppies. I did water changes tonight in the fish room, and the hybrid guppies, the blue tucks crossed to green cobras, their colors, now that the males are getting even bigger, their colors are really popping, and I just can't get a good photo using my phone. They just move too much, and the lighting's not the best. So, and that's another thing. I need to set up a fish photo box, and I believe Haley, Oddball Aquatics, says that Aquatic Arts uses, it's a tank that's just for their photos. So if you notice, all their pictures on their website of all the fish, it's on black substrate, and there's some plants. Well, it's one box, they put the fish in it, and I guess I can give you an example. Now this is small, so it wouldn't be this small. I got bigger ones. This is the Lee's Critter Keeper. This is the mini, but I have the medium one. So getting a box, putting black sand in it, and then you can really light the box up, take the picture of the fish, and then move on. So I want to get into that, but I really want to get a better camera. John said, why is the half-inch 9/16, 10, and 15 always come up gone from sets? So for me, it's always, pretty much everybody, it's the 10 millimeter. I don't use any standard tools here or at work. When I started in the profession, I had the master kit that had all the metrics and all the standard sizes, and then after 6 months, I took all the standard sizes out of my toolbox because I never used them. I don't even know where half of my standard stuff is anymore. Pretty much everything's metric that I work on. German-wise, even cars these days, a lot of stuff's metric. I know with my aunt's Jeep, she's having an alternator issue, and so today I was working on it, and it was all metric. Everything that at least I worked on was metric. But Chevy Fish, thank you for putting the website 614fish.com, and I'll answer this. I do get questions here and there about am I shipping fish? Am I shipping plants? I am not shipping fish right now, and that is purely due to the overwhelming delays with the post office. And I'm not the only person. I haven't been shipping fish it's been a few weeks now, and I noticed that multiple other people are not shipping fish, which I think is the correct move, because shipping is just crazy right now, and it's one of those things that I will not. I probably won't be shipping fish until at least mid or end of January, and then I'll have to see what weather is, because end of January into February is really, really cold, typically anyway, so it's hard to ship if it's negative 20 out. So we'll have to see. So it's probably going to be at least end of January. I did order, I think it was 90 or 120 heat packs. I found a case of it. Nobody has the 72-hour heat packs I use. These were 40 hours. But I did order 90 packs of those, and that will at least allow me to continue shipping plants. Those heat packs are not here yet. I should actually, I'm trying to think when I ordered those. I wonder if you can check shipping while we're all kind of hanging out in here. Because I don't know, when did I order those? Oh, you know what? I'm going to check it on my phone through the app. So I can't check that right now, but I need to try to remember to check that after the stream. So that way I make sure they don't come stolen off my porch, because I've had that before. If you guys have been following me for a long time, my first ever wholesale order I did with like wholesale products got stolen off my porch. So that sucked. But the company was super awesome. My first ever order, they replaced it all. So that company was super sweet. But so I did ship out some plants. Was it this week without heat packs, because they're going to southern United States and it wasn't below freezing. Plants actually do well if they're cold. They just can't, obviously they can't get frozen. And because I know whenever I wholesale the plants in, they usually have ice packs with them. And they come from California, so I don't know if it's just because, you know, it's hotter out there and they're trying to keep them from getting too hot. But I know that they're sitting with ice packs, they can get cold. They just can't freeze. And so when it's like today, it was, oh man, it was cold today. It was like 19 degrees and the wind chill was bad today. It was really cold. And so I would have to have heat pack, because if that box sits in a truck that's outside and it's, you know, 19 degrees, the plants will die. Fishkeeper Cole said, one of my friends on Discord ordered some plants online 20 days ago and ended up waiting at the post office for 19 days before being shipped out, and by the time it arrived, it was a goopy brown mess. Yeah, see, that's what I want to avoid, and I'm glad to keep my eye on shipping times. So, you know, whenever I ship something, you know, I can track it through my software to see where any issues are as far as delays. The weirdest delay I had was I had a package going from here in Ohio, I think, to Indiana or Illinois, but like a state or two states over west, and somehow it went from here to, I think it was going to Indianapolis. Went to Indianapolis. The guy lived somewhere just outside of Indianapolis, but then the package went from there to like North Carolina or something. Like, it was in his local city, but then they shipped it like East Coast and then back. Like, it was the craziest thing. And I think that was just dry goods, so it wasn't that big of a deal, other than like the package got delayed. Dank Tanks is here. Hello. Yeah, so shipping is just nuts right now, and everybody's ordering online. I was trying to find a video card to upgrade my computer so I can do quicker editing, and everybody's sold out, and so that sucks. And if they're not sold out, the prices are like double. Like, everybody's basically scalping computer parts right now. So I've been keeping my eye on some of the big box stores, because the box stores aren't scalping prices. They are what they're supposed to be. But like a $500 video card's like $1,200 right now. If you look anywhere online, it's nuts. Von Yinzer said, who all got the ONIP tabs from Steven, and what did you all think? I did get some feedback from general, not from people I sent the ONIP tabs to. Texas Fisherman said, yeah, I want an RTX 3080. That's what I'm looking at right now, is the 3080. I think it's 3080, or maybe it's the 3060 Ti. It's in my price range, and all I want it is for rendering videos. It's a gaming video card, but when rendering videos, the video card does the majority of the work. And whenever I render a video, my computer's maxed out. I have a performance gauge thing that runs, and as soon as I click render, the performance gauge goes to maxed out, and I can't use the computer until the video is done. And I know when I updated this video card, which has been probably at least a couple years now, I cut my rendering time in half. And this video card is really old, so I know that I could cut my rendering time even down more. But so we'll see. Nick says you really need a 3080 for video editing. So here's what I do. My computer is probably, when did I get this computer? I was in my townhouse. I can tell you the year. I built this computer in 2012. So it's 8 years old. So hardware-wise, everything's 8 years old except for the video card is from 2014. But I only bought that like a couple years ago. So typically what I do is I buy I build a computer and I try to future-proof it for as long as possible. So at the time, Nick said, "What CPU do you have?" I have a Intel i5. I think it's a 4-core processor, and it was top of the line when I bought it. The i7 wasn't even out yet, I don't believe, but it was top of the line when I built it, and then now, I upgraded the video card, a couple years ago, but it still wasn't like the current video card. That was 2018, and the model was a 2014, I think, is what the video card was. Anyways, I try, if I'm going to spend the money, I try to like future-proof it for at least, I try to do like 6 years. If I can go 6 years without having to touch anything, then I'm happy. But with videos, especially 4K, so right now I can't really, if you notice, all my videos are all 1080p. I don't really do 4K. I've done a couple 4Ks, but if I do a 4K edit, it takes like all night for it to render. 4K is no joke when it comes to hogging up the computer. That's the main reason. So a typical video, it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio. So like if it's a 10-minute video, it doesn't take 10 minutes. At least on my system, somebody with a nicer computer, it's probably better. But if I do a 10-minute video, it usually takes like a half an hour to render. So it's like a 3-to-1 ratio. But 4K takes that and like quadruples it. The computer stuff, it's out there. Ryan says, sorry, SC chat went mechanics. Oh man, I'm missing that then. Everybody has side chats, that's awesome, because I don't really have anything planned other than hanging out with you guys, so I'm cool with whatever. I don't want to bore anybody, so like if you're not a computer person, I can understand that you might not like this, and if you're not a car person, I can get that. But if anybody has questions, or if you're trying to talk to me directly, tag me so that way it highlights my screen. But that's, yeah. Chevy Fish said many people aren't shipping till middle of January. Yeah, that's my earliest I will be shipping fish, will be middle of January. I mean, and once middle comes, that's not even guaranteed. It still might be end of January, if not into February. Typically, I like shipping in the winter because it's easy for me to control the heat with the heat packs, where summer, I can drop in an ice pack, but, how long that ice pack lasts, I don't really know. With the heat pack, if it's a 72-hour heat pack, they typically will last 72 hours, as long as you don't smother it, which I accidentally did like a month ago. I smothered them with a plastic bag, and I learned my lesson, but, nothing happened to the fish, but, always evolving my shipping processes. When I first started shipping fish, I'll be honest, I was terrible. I didn't know the best methods. I tried different things. I tried small bags, big bags, individual fish bags, and I guess it depends on what I'm shipping. Kind of debates how I ship it, I guess. Shrimp, I wish I could just ship shrimp all day long because they're super easy. They're super hardy. They can get cold and not, be fussy. I'm not saying they get frozen, but like if the box temperature dropped down to 50 degrees, they'd be fine. Where if a fish box dropped to 50 degrees, you might lose everything. Ryan said 10 mils what started the conversation. Let's see. Most video editing likes a lot of RAM. I have 64 gigs of RAM, and that helped me out the most. So honestly, I haven't maxed out my RAM. I have, I think, just 16 gigs. The highest I've seen my RAM usage go is to like 70%. But that was like editing a video, plus I had other stuff running. So I've been pricing out a new computer build, keeping my same computer box, just replacing the core components, the motherboard and the processor, switching over to a solid state hard drive because I'm still running old school spin up hard drives, but I'm looking at going to like an M2 for the applications and operating system, and then using solid state drives for some of the minor storage. But videos, like once I started doing YouTube videos and I started recording a lot, physical storage space became like a real thing. And I'm going to pull up my storage because I don't remember off the top of my head. So my main hard drive is a terabyte, and that's what like the operating system's on, software, that stuff. And then I have 2 more hard drives. They're a total of 5 terabytes, and on one of them I have 400 gigs left, and on the other one I have 1 terabyte left. Just I don't delete videos. I take all the raw video and I keep it. That's mainly so if I ever do a video down the road and I want to refer back to something else, I have that original video still. So I do try to keep all that stuff. But I actually, I don't know if I ever talked about this or if you guys know or remember. So I'm a professional mechanic, but I actually have a degree, and you won't be able to see it. Well, I don't know if I can tilt you guys. Up on the walls, like my degrees and stuff like that. I have a degree in computers, in IT, which is networking is what the actual degree is. So I went to college for computers, graduated, taught my class, and interviewed. Columbus is a tech city. There's a lot of corporations here. And I went and interviewed with a lot of businesses, and basically they all came back. They all interviewed me with my like I sent my resume, interviewed, and they were all basically all the same answers. They wanted 4 years experience. And I'm like, I'm fresh out of college. I'm like, well, can't get experience if you guys don't hire me. So what their response was, well, we want to start you in help desk. I'm like, well, help desk, you guys are hiring right off the street for help desk. It was like $12 an hour. I'm like, I have a degree I'm trying to pay for, but I could have started in help desk, but I guess I was too proud to be a help desk person when I was trying to get into networking. Like, I don't want to help people with their printer issues over the phone. I want to get into running the hardware. That's what I got into, was the networking hardware side of things. I did have a project that I got to do. There was the Columbus Culinary School. I got to do the networking and computer installation in that school. They had like different computer labs. I got to do all the hardware installs on that, and that was a ton of fun. That's what I wanted to get into. But everybody was only hiring if you had 4 years experience, and that's actually how I became a mechanic. Was as soon as I graduated school, that's when the loans kicked in. I had to start paying back the loans as soon as I graduated. So I needed a job, and my buddy was like, hey, like, we're hiring at BMW. It's an entry-level tech spot. You're good with cars. And cars were my hobby. That's what I did. That's how I, could, learn how to weld and stuff like that and fabricate. because it was my hobby. And then worst mistake I ever did was make my hobby my job, and I hate working on cars on the side now. I go through these spurts where my Civic's a good example. I bought the car, I was all gung-ho, put a ton of work into it, then it sat for 2 years in my garage, never touched it. Sold it, and then I had that like seller's remorse. I bought the car back. It's painted now. I just got to put plates on it and insurance, and I can start driving it. But yeah, that's kind of like how all that went. So kind of like I have a little bit of knowledge in a lot of areas. Let me see where you guys are at. I see John's talking about 400 small block. Patty said, well, that's where you can start out, get your foot in the door. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like the fact that I was like, man, like, I felt like they were trying to take advantage of me. Like, oh, we just hired this guy that has a college degree, and we're putting him in, like, the sub-maker position. Like, you know, just, I don't know. I didn't like it, so that's where I went. Ryan said, I missed my Civic. Check out PFI Speed and Boosted Boys. I saw a couple of Boosted Boys videos. It's been a while. I don't know what they're currently up to, but it's pretty cool. I used to be real big into Honda in high school, and that was, my father worked for the Honda plant where they actually make the cars here in Ohio. So I grew up with him working at Honda, so I just naturally was into Honda. I've had a ton of them. I had a Honda sport bike. I've had Honda Civics, a lot of Civics, all different years. I had an Acura, which is a Honda. PA Fish Preacher says, so you're a mechanic for BMW, good paying job? No, actually I work for Audi now. I worked for BMW for 10 years, and then Audi offered me a job that paid even more starting there than I made in 10 years at BMW, so I said, alright. Unfortunately with mechanic jobs, a lot of times you can only get raises if you move jobs. Mechanics are flat rate, so you're paid per job, not like hourly. So if I go to work, let's say I work tomorrow, I go to work and no cars come in, I don't get paid. So basically I go to work for, let's say Saturday is a short day, let's say I'm there for 4 hours or 5 hours, whatever it is. And if I don't touch a car, I don't get paid. So it's not even salary. So salary, you get paid if you work nothing or work overtime, you get paid the same. Hourly, you're paid for when you're there. I'm paid for what I work on. So the quickest way I guess I can run this down for if you're not a car person is, say an oil change, they say I'll pay you $10 to change this oil. If it takes me all day to change that oil, I get paid $10. If it takes me 2 minutes to change that oil, I get paid $10. So what you do is you work as quickly as possible. So the more cars I can get in a day, the more money I make. So your goal is to make at least 8 hours a day. If you're at work for 8 hours, you obviously won't get paid 8 hours. But being a mechanic, as long as the work's there and it's good jobs, the possibilities is you can make like 16 hours a day only being there 8. So let's say you get paid $25 an hour is your set rate, and every tech's different. You might, a brand new tech that's starting, he's in high school, might make $12 an hour. A seasoned tech might make $30 an hour. And we're billed by like hours. So let's say an oil service for Audi, let's say it pays an hour, and let's just say I get paid $25 an hour. I get paid $25 to change that oil and do the services. If I can do that in 10 minutes, then I get paid $25, and I can do another one, get paid $25. And if you can change 4 cars or do 4 services in an hour, you made $100. And so the goal is just to work as quickly and as efficiently as possible, because you want to try and make that 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. There's some days where you might have a really big job that could pay, let's say you have like some crazy job that pays 40 hours, which I had one a couple months ago. I had to do like a timing job on this V6, and you had it required taking the whole engine out of the car, and like said and done, it was almost 40 hours of labor to rebuild the timing set. Let's say that job pays 40 hours and I get it done in 2 days. Well, I got paid 40 hours Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I can make another 40. So in 1 week, I could turn 80 hours of labor, and I get paid for that. So that's how mechanics work. So when it's slow, it sucks because you're not getting paid. But if it's busy, it's nice. Ferret and fish family. I'm not having much luck with anything not Anubias in sand. So I pretty much use sand in, let's say, 90%. 9 out of 10 tanks in my house are all sand. I have... Actually, let me think of how many gravel tanks I have. Okay, so I take that back. So I only have 2 gravel tanks. The 10-gallon tank that's got the Barbados quarries. And what was the other one? And then the 25-gallon that's got like the muck guppies. Those are the only ones with gravel. Every other tank is sand. So I don't know how many tanks I have. 55-ish tanks. They're all sand except for those 2. And the only plant I struggle with is Java fern. That's the only plant. And those aren't even planted in the substrate. So with a rhizome plant, so Java ferns and Anubiases, you're going to plant that on a rock or a decoration. I don't have any rhizome plants in here, I don't think. Or maybe, do I? Nope, I don't. I just covered my hand in duckweed. That's awesome. So with the rhizome plants, you're going to, let's say you have a rock, you can string the rhizome around the rock. I always just usually super glue them. And then their roots will go down to a substrate. If you plant the rhizome, it'll rot and the plant will die. But as far as other plants, I pretty much have been able to grow everything. Like I said, the only plant that I suck with is Java fern, and Java fern is supposed to be a beginner plant, and just it doesn't do well for me, and I don't know why. I can grow everything else, and then so I don't know. But let me go back. Where did it go? Crap! Chat jumped. Not having much luck with anything not Anubias. Yeah, I don't know. I've grown jungle val just fine. Pennywort, moneywort, bacopa. I'm trying to think what other plants are out in the fish room that would be in the sand. Even the mosses will grab a hold of it too. Jellyfish also said boost. I've never had boost, but yes, it's also a rhizome. And Ferret and Fish Family said agree on Java fern, very slow growth. I just always kill it somehow. I don't know. I don't know. And what's weird is pearlweed. I bought pearlweed off of Lucas, and he was talking about how easy it was for him to grow. And I put it in my tank. He actually came over and kind of, I don't want to say planted it. He put a rock on it to hold it. And on my rack system 1, just with that lighting, it didn't like it. It didn't die, but it never really grew. And it was getting fertilizer, and the lights were on. My smart Wi-Fi switches, so they're basically on timers. I can never get it to grow and like really boom. Where the Christmas moss is like my bread and butter plant here. It grows like a weed in my fish room. The only tank I ever couldn't get it to grow was basically a no light tank. So with like no actual fish lights, I was just trying to go with like room ambient lighting. It wouldn't grow, but it will grow under like the dimmest aquarium light. And finally, I end up floating a piece of pearl weed, and that's the move for me, is floating it, because at the surface it's grown like wildfire. And that's, if there's been a few videos recently I've done of rack system 2, and there's this like really green carpet across the surface of a couple tanks. It looks really like this bright healthy green. That's the pearl weed. It's basically the top layer of it's going immersed. It's still submerged underneath, but then it's got this like crust layer of immersed grown, and it's on fire out there. It looks really good. So I've been splitting it up into more tanks to get it to immersed grown floating. And what I'm actually doing in that rack system is letting it immerse grown and making this like really dense mat on the surface, because it's blocking the overflows. So the rainbow fry there in there can't get to the overflows of the tank, because it's such a thick mat up there that the surface skimming of the overflows, like I don't have to worry about fish like the tiny rainbow fry getting to it. So that's kind of what I'm using it for. But it looks really awesome too, because it's just so bright. I need to... That's under a Fluval 3.0 light. I have a spare... It's a brand new Fluval 4-foot light that I had to steal the power supply out of. I'm pretty sure I got scammed on eBay. So I sold a 4-foot Fluval light on eBay. And I get an email from the guy once it got delivered, and he said that there was no power supply in the box and the seal was broken. Well, I would know if the seal was broken when I had the product. So basically, somewhere along the way, somebody opened the box and took the power supply. Didn't take the light, just the power supply box. And he, requested a refund through eBay. Well, I emailed him like, hey, how about I just send you a power supply? Like, I have another one of them here. There's no point of you shipping me that box and then I ship you a whole new box. I'll just take the power supply out of this box and ship it to you. He's like, okay. So I took the power supply out and shipped it to him. Contact my vendor. I'm like, hey, I need to buy a power supply. Well, first of all, the power supply, my cost is like $55 for a power supply. And think of the power supply as like, if you ever had like a laptop that like kind of, the box is like this big, that's the power supply, and just is a cable that plugs in. It's like $55. And they don't even have it for the Fluval 3.0, they only have it for the 2.0. It's not available for the 3.0. I think what happened is that, I'm not trying to point fingers, but I think what happened is the guy somehow broke his power supply and then basically scammed me out of one by saying, like, oh, it wasn't there. Because, like, what post person would open a box to steal a power supply for a Fluval light? Like, makes no sense. And then, like, obviously the box was closed back up and shipped. Because you can't get these power... Even today, and this was over a year ago, even to this day, I still can't get a power supply for it. It's just not available. So, I think I got scammed out of it, and $55 if I ever get to buy one. So I have a brand new light sitting over in my other storage room, just sitting there because it doesn't have a power supply. And I thought about this actually like last week. I need to just see what the specs are for the input, and then just buy a universal power supply. Because if I remember right, it's just like one of those like round plugs, like a laptop plug. So I need to just go. I have a Fluval 3.0 in my fish room. I need to take a picture of the specs on the power supply and then just find a universal one and then just use it. Obviously, I can't sell the light with a non Fluval power supply, but then I can at least use that light. I could put it on this tank and then put some dwarf hair grass in it and try to get like a carpet going, or do something cool. This has the Stingray light, which isn't going to grow a carpet on a 55, but, and you know, it's growing these Amazons. But yeah. Fair and Fish said exactly universal should be an option. Yeah, I need to find one with the correct power specs and then one that has the correct plug. Which, you know, I have a digital caliper so I can measure the port openings. I can try to find the correct size and, you know, try to be legit about it, but kind of sucks because it's a $200 light that's been sitting for a year now that I couldn't sell and I won't be able to sell. And what really sucks is even if they had a power supply option available and I bought it and it was $55, just so I could sell that light, I would still lose. There's not much markup on Fluval lights. They're super expensive, but they are super expensive to buy even wholesale. But if I had to buy a $55 power supply, I would lose money selling that light. So I might as well just keep it and use it somewhere here. I'm getting stuffy. I don't know why. That is how they replicate. And then I scrolled up and I saw, is it Dougie? I was about to say Doogie. Maybe it's Doogie. Ryan, that means they're lacking nutrients and you need more ferts, buddy. I'm guessing you're talking about Java fern and shooting off plants. Oh, here it is. My Javas have small plants starting at the top of the leaves. Yeah, so that's basically how all mine are, because I can't grow them for anything. But what that is when the plant stresses, which is kind of weird thinking like a plant stressing out, like, you know, giving it personification. When it stresses, it says, I need to make babies. That's how it replicates. So it's shooting off baby plants. It's reproducing. And you think, oh, that's how it's propagating. Well, Java ferns are rhizomes, so when they're happy, they just grow a longer rhizome. And the rhizome that's actually in my 25, it started off as a plant from, I think that was actually from the co-op, like before, like when I first got into like the hobby. You know, its rhizome was this big. Now it's, you know, this big. It's actually growing kind of an upward route. But that takes a low light, so it's living, but it's not like, it doesn't look like super green. Like it's, I don't know, it's a plant, but it's not. Yeah. Dougie as in the Dougie. Von User said, I wish I could get my Amazon stores to prosper like that. The 614 is a huge help, but they're not getting but they will not get huge like where when I bought them. So with Amazons, your best bet is actually root tabs for that plant. I did put root tabs on the big plants. The small plants don't have root tabs. And I like contemplated the idea of making my own root tabs because right now I don't have my own, so I have the co-op ones, and these are actually really old. I don't know when I bought these, and I randomly found them in the fish room one day. It's like I didn't even know I had these. Like I bought them at some point, but I thought about making my own because I do have a ton of dry ferts. So I have the fertilizer to be able to do root tabs. So I even went as far as looking at buying the gel caps. Which these are gel caps. They dissolve in water. Mickey said, I have been missing out. What's the name of the puffer? I haven't told anybody the name of the puffer yet. I was going to drop it like at the end, keep it like suspenseful. But I will tell you the guy's his or her name. But I thought about doing my own root tabs and then 3D printing an injector tool. Because the one thing that kind of sucks about root tabs, especially on tall tanks, 55, 75, stuff like that, is you gotta get it down into the substrate, so you're reaching your arm in there. And I have tweezers, but even with tweezers, you still gotta get your arm in there, and then you gotta kind of like push the substrate aside, get them in there, get the tweezers out, and they float. The root tabs float, so you gotta like do all that without the root tab floating up. So what I was thinking about doing is 3D printing basically an injector, so like a syringe. And I have this API test tube, and I'm a hands-on person. So think of a big syringe that a root tab would go in, and then you could just jam, I want to make sure I don't cut this off, jam this into your substrate and then inject the root tab, right? I was like, man, like, I feel like that'd be a good idea. And I could, I can't make the 3D print, I'm limited on how long I could 3D print something. If I could 3D print something, you know, this long, and then you can inject it, and then you're not trying to like dig the substrate and then like make sure the substrate fills in, you know, you could inject a root tab. I'm like, man, I'd use the out of that. And so I thought about that. I thought about doing my own root tabs, which I might still do that even if I don't like sell them, but I might still make them for my own tanks, like, because I like doing stuff like that. I like building stuff. I like engineering, problem-solving things. So I still might do that. But I looked at doing what I was going like gimmicky, name it the fertilizer bomb, which I have a press. I wanted to make a fertilizer tablet out of the dry fertilizers, press it using a die into like a tablet, right? And then you could just drop a tablet into a tank. So for the fish room, it makes a lot of sense. For the home user, maybe not, like, because with the home user, the liquid you squirt it, you're done. But like with me, I could just take tabs and like walk in the fish room and like chuck a tab, and that would be treating the water column, not a root tab, but treating the water column, which is what liquid fertilizer is doing. But I thought about pressing like fertilizer tabs, so not like root tabs, but like regular tabs, and then I could walk in and just literally toss, and instead of using liquid fertilizer, because you know, think of the space savings. I use the gallon. I have a gallon jug of my fertilizer, which I sent one to Oddball Aquatics because she's like very pro my fertilizer, which is awesome. She always buys it. When she buys from me, she always buys the fertilizer, and she buys Massivore Delight. So I always keep Massivore Delight in stock for her because I believe that's what she feeds her bichers. But she always buys those two things. Well, I sold out of the fertilizer, so I buy the gallons for here, and I just refill my little pump bottle. So I end up just sending her a gallon of it, just as like a thank you type deal, because she always talks about it on her live streams, like, you know, she loves it, she uses it, it works really well. So just kind of as a thank you, I sent her that. But I don't know, it's just something I might do my own root tabs, or I might try this. You know, it might not work. Maybe I can't press it tight enough to where it stays together without like a binder, and you know, I don't know. John says, so maybe a trip to TSC or a co-op for a root tab tool. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure there's like big syringes that would be like similar. I was just thinking I could 3D print something to where like it'd be a perfect fit for the root tab, and you know, because I think if it's a perfect fit, you don't have to worry about like when you go stick it into sand of the syringe filling up with sand or gravel or whatever. So I don't know. And Haley's here. Oddball's here. Have you been here the whole time? I don't see any posts from you, so I'm guessing you might have been lurking. But, yep, there's Oddball, so Oddball says she does love it, and she says thank you very much. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought the tab thing would be kind of cool. Root tabs would be kind of cool. The thing with root tabs is I know manufacturing them, like on a scale level, kind of sucks unless you buy like the machines that will hold the capsules and you can like put the material in. Like for me to do it, it'd be all like hand, like small scale, which I don't know at that point if it's worth like the time and labor, but it'd be worth it for me to mess around with my own tanks. So I might try it. Oddball says I'm always lurking. I have spies everywhere. Spying. Oddball, there was something I wanted to tell you the other day, and I honestly can't remember what it was. It was something fish related. And I can't think of what it was. But anyways, I hope everything's going well. I saw that you got up at like 5 a.m. or something crazy. That's a early start. At Von Yinzer, they are heavy root feeders, so either active substrate and or root tabs and decent light or CO2 will give you huge swords. So the thing with active substrates, and I was thinking about this the other day, so I have more hands-on props. Oh, tangled up in the network cable. So I have Fluval Stratum. I also have Eco Complete sitting here. So I have, if anybody's looking for this, I hope it's on the website. I got 5 bags of this left. So these bags, I don't know if you can see it, they're actually liquid filled. These come basically sitting in fertilizer. So Eco Complete is going to give you a huge ammonia spike when you first start using it. But with active substrates, think of like I think they're volcanic rocks. They're very porous. They can absorb a lot of fertilizer. So what's nice about that is if you're using liquid fertilizers, that substrate can hold on to that fertilizer. So the tinkering part of me said, well, why can't I take lava rock, which I'm going to rotate this camera. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Like there's some pieces of lava rock right there, right? Can I take lava rock and chop that stuff up into a bunch of pieces? Granted, that's red. It'd be cool to grab the black lava rock. Is that the same thing as the active substrate? It's porous. It's, I would assume it's going to absorb just like what the big box companies are using. And I have, I think two 50-pound bags of lava rock out in the garage right now. So I'm like, I might try to make my own substrate using it. And even though it's red, I could use that and then cap it with like some sand so you don't see it. But that roots, if it went through, a 1/4 inch of sand and they can hit that lava rock, they're really going to help absorb nutrients. Von Yinzer says, I have active substrate in my tanks. I use Eco Complete, but not sure how long it lasts for. I do need to try something else. Root tabs seem to be the answer. I would assume if you have an active substrate and it's a volcanic base, it would absorb liquid ferts. SC, I love Eco Complete, less mess than Fluval Stratum. I honestly have never used either of them. Honestly, I've just been too cheap. When I set up my fish room, I was, trying to save money, so I did everything with pool filter sand. But yeah, I need to. I still want to do like a nice planted tank, and I think that's what this tank's going to end up being, is since it's in the background of the live stream. Let me rotate this back. Since this is in the live stream, also doing my squirrel thing as I'm looking at this camera. So I think I'm going to try hooking up the GoPro instead of this like webcam, because I don't know, the quality looks like complete crap on my screen for this screen up here. But the GoPro, I'm thinking about using the GoPro, playing around with that to see if I can get the GoPro as the secondary cam. Anyways, I think this tank will be like a background tank, where maybe I'll try to plant it and do something with it. I see what else is going on. IHSP, hello. I want to make it just didn't happen. We got in a big game of dominoes, about 7 of us playing. Kind of a long game. I haven't played dominoes and I don't even know. Texas Fish Room said Eco Complete was my go-to when I started doing plants, but now I want to try organic potting soil. I know, like, potting soil, like, the benefits are huge. I'm too afraid of making a mess in my tank, and this tank drives me nuts with all the particles in it. So I'm super, I know you can cap it, and that's what I would do. I don't know, I'm too afraid. I just hate having all the particles in the water. From this view, it looks okay, but, like, when I'm looking at it, all I can see is, to me, it looks like the solar system with all the little particles against the black background. It drives me nuts. So this tank definitely needs a redo. And I don't know if you guys... Did I even drop that video yet? Oh. So, this week I was off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I had to burn some vacation. I made like 5 videos, I think, this week. I uploaded them to members. So members kept getting posts like, new video, new video. So, 2 of the videos are already out, which was the spawning mop video, how to make it, which is this guy right here. And what was the other video I released? The ranch video, which is just when I was at the farm ranch. I took some video eyes there, so I released that. But I have 3 more videos coming out. And one is on this tank, so it's not out yet. If you guys noticed, these caves are all rearranged. They were all kind of randomly in there. And the box filters are moved. So that, I'll rotate you. So that box filter is in the corner, and that box filter is all the way in the corner. So I did a video on this, just to show you guys what I'm doing during the week on my day off. I hadn't cleaned those box filters in a while, so I'm like, let's open these up and I'll show you how to clean a box filter in case you never cleaned a box filter. You can do it without killing any of the bacteria inside. So there is a video, and that one is scheduled to come out on the 29th, which I don't even, what day is that? So that one comes out on Tuesday. There is a video coming out on Sunday. There's basically a video coming out like every 2 days. Anyway, so there's a video on how do I do water changes in this, because this is not in the fish room. So I show you in the video like how I drain it, how I fill this tank, clean the box filters, clean the tank, just maintenance. I basically do maintenance on this tank. I recorded it. But I rearranged those to see if I get any kind of different breeding behavior out of these guys, because they still haven't bred for me. And I'm going to rotate the camera on that box filter. Oh, come on, camera, rotate. Is a big male. That is a large size box filter, and he overhangs it. Like, that's a big dude. I just haven't had any breeding behavior. I did have somebody on the channel, they dropped a comment saying that they breed these and these are not breedable size. Which in general I'd be like, oh man, like they're not big enough to breed. But these did come from one of our master breeders in my local club. And he bred these, and then Mike that was in here, he dropped one of the super chats, bought a baby from this group. So like they've been bred. Like I was told they were bred, and it's by a master breeder who I would trust. And then also my buddy supposedly has the offspring of these guys. So they should breed for me. I just haven't been able to unlock how to do it yet. So I don't know. I really want to breed them, but I'll have to put some time into them. I don't know if it's... I need to drop temperature or raise temperature. I'm at the temperature that my breeder that got them from said that they need to be at. But we'll see. I don't know, maybe because the super reds are in there, they're uncomfortable, or maybe they're uncomfortable because of the rainbows. I don't know. But eventually I'll figure it out. But it would be super sweet to get those to breed. And yeah, so I kind of did that maintenance to redo those caves. I wanted them closer together to like concentrate the males and females together, because the males are here and the females are there. Like, the closer they are, the better they come together. And then I also want to rearrange them so they were all facing the front again, because originally when I put them in there, they were all facing the front, so that way I could take a flashlight and look in there, see if there's any eggs. But over time, with them always moving in the sand, the cave started moving around. So I re-put them forward. Yeah, so we'll see. And if I end up putting that Fluval light on here, I would probably put some like dwarf hairgrass in there, dwarf Sagittarius, something like that. Try to get like a little bit of carpet. I'd also get rid of that sand. That sand sucks. Talking about videos, I'll just tell you the other two videos that are coming out. The one that's coming out on Sunday, the 27th, is an update about adding calcium to the tanks. The calcium, and I'll rotate you guys, the white stuff that's in this top video, that's eggshell. I have a video on that using chicken eggshell for calcium. One of the shrimp tanks is, I'm going to call it booming. It's been a very slow tank to reproduce. And I think it was Monday or Sunday I was out there, and I'm like, holy crap, there's a ton of babies in here. And there were like 2 females right up front buried. I'm like, they are doing really, really good right now. And the only thing I changed was I started dosing more calcium. So I went from adding calcium maybe every few weeks to I shot that calcium video and I was adding it like once a week. And now I have a ton of shrimplets. I have a ton of baby shrimp in that tank. So there's a video coming out Sunday about that. It kind of shows you that shrimp tank and about how, since I started dosing that tank heavier, like it's showing results in the form of a lot of baby shrimp. And then the other video comes out on the 31st, which I'm guessing is a Thursday? Yeah, which is Thursday. I got a Wi-Fi power strip. So I use Wi-Fi switches. I don't have any right here. I use Wi-Fi switches to power lights. So like this light's on a Wi-Fi switch. It's a Stingray light. It's not a Bluetooth light or anything. It's you plug it in, it turns on, right? Well, I have those lights on switches, and they run on my phone. So if I wanted to right now, I could turn that light off, turn it on. But they run in like a smart group, so all the lights that's on a tank in my house, they all turn on and off at the exact same time. It's super easy. It's not like a mechanical timer where you have to set it on the wall and do that for everyone. They all are exactly on my cell phone time. Well, the company has a Wi-Fi power strip. It had 3 outlets and it had USB ports. And so I decided to give it a try. And that's just the videos about that light strip, and just to show you guys another smart device you can use on a fish tank. And then that's on the fry rack. And so the Wi-Fi part of it's controlling the sump. Which the reason I control that is if I need to turn it off to feed. Helps the food like linger in the tanks before it gets sucked out into the overflows. So I can turn the pump off, or if there's like a water leak or something, I can just have my phone like turn the pump off. You can also connect it to Alexa, so you can be like, you can have like an Echo Dot in your fish room or in your house. You can be like, hey Alexa, turn off the 55-gallon tank, and the lights would turn off. Or like, hey Alexa, turn off the fish room, and everything in the fish room turns off. Like, you can do all that stuff. So I'm really pro smart devices. So I like that. I like that technology. So that's the video that comes out on the 31st. It's just kind of going over that new thing. Like, I don't sell them, so it's not like a sales pitch. I just showing you what I was doing. That, you know, with having 3 days off of work, I was kind of bored, so I just recorded everything I was doing. So cool. Anyways, guys, we are past that 1 hour mark, so let's talk about the Fahaka puffer's name. I think it's that time that we should drop his name, and maybe since you know, I don't know how many people rewatch the live streams. It says there's 37 people in here right now, and I'm coming up on 2,500 subs, which is awesome. Thank you guys. So I'll probably do like a quick video sometime next week of like his official name, so everybody else can see him. But anyway, so you guys can see his name. Some of you are going to hate me, some of you are going to approve. But I went with, can I throw up? Okay, ready? Out of all the names, out of all the top ones, I went with, just kidding. I went with Bruce. I don't know, like, so I originally was going to go with Gizmo, and then Chomper was kind of like the one that was taking over what I wanted to go with. So I was going to go with Chomper. I don't know, there's something about Chomper I really liked, but then I kept thinking about Bruce. And I was like, man, Bruce? There's just something about Bruce that, like, guess what Bruce did today? Like, it seemed like more serious. So I went with Bruce. So the Fahaka's name is going to be Bruce. And that's what I went with. And I'll do videos so everybody else that follow or sub that they'll know. But it's Bruce. Holy mother puffer. Showy Fish said, I love Gizmo and Peepers. Gizmo. So the top three were Gizmo, Bruce, and Chompers. Those were the three, and Bruce was just like one of those things that like I could yell at him, like, because I know he's going to go into eventually he'll go into that 250-gallon tank. There'll probably be other fish, and then I'll come home and he like killed them all. I'm like, Bruce, you are such an a-hole, you know. I guess I can do that with Gizmo, but I don't know. I feel like yelling Bruce. I feel like he's going to be that pet that I'm going to yell at a lot. Like, why'd you do that? But Bruce, it was Bruce. Bruce Almighty. I never even thought of that. There you go. Mickey said he's going to rule the world. Oh, damn it, Bruce. Yeah, that's kind of like what it was. And, you know, some people were like, Bruce Wayne. I'm like, Bruce Wayne wasn't even, like, in my mind. It was just Bruce. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could yell, Bruce. Bruce, you idiot. Don't eat that. But now he was eating my shrimp tonight. He's been eating every time I feed him. He's still tiny, so I'm hoping he'll put on some size here soon. I'm curious how old he is. Because I checked all my wholesale lists, and they all, like, when it comes to puffers, they list how big they are. They're all at least 2 inches. Every wholesale website says they're at least 2 inches. I mean, this guy was ½ inch-ish, maybe 3/4 inch. Like, can't believe you didn't go for Puffy the Clamshell Slayer. So that was a top 10 for sure. I really chuckled at that. It was just something where I'm like, the more I thought about it, I'm like, do I want to come home and yell, Puffy, you clamshell slayer? What are you doing? Like, I need something that was quick to yell at him. And I don't know. Just gotta be quick. And Bruce is something quick to yell. And honestly, I think if it wasn't Bruce, it would have been Chompers. Juicy Brucey. Oh, man. Yeah. So, it's Bruce. Bruce Lee. Yeah, there's a lot of good Bruces out there. Bruce Almighty, Bruce Lee, Bruce Wayne. But yep, we got Bruce now. So that'll be the second fish that I've ever had named. Lil Puff. Lil Puff was up there. Bruce, that's an expensive deuce. Is Bruce a he? I don't know what she is. Honestly, I don't know, like, once they're sizable, how to tell, but as of right now, I have no idea. And even if it was a she, it will still be Bruce. Wait a minute. Well, isn't it Bruce Jenner? Oh, gosh. I was thinking he, she, Bruce Lita. Yeah, it'll just be Bruce. It was a good name. It was too long to yell. I'm just thinking yelling. Like, I'm thinking like the dog's like, Havana, what are you doing? Like, well, I was about to say, Charlotte, what are you doing? But Charlotte's deaf. She can't hear me yell at her. Charlotte's the one when you're yelling at her, you gotta, like, really get animated so she looks at you. So it's not like, Havana, what are you doing? It's like, Charlotte, what are you doing? You know? And then she looks at you. And then, like, she's like, why are you, like, being all freaking crazy? And then it's sign language, like, this means no. So it's like, no! And then she's like, oh, crap. But Patty says, well, if it's Bruce Jenner, you're covered if it turns out to be a girl. Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Oh, jeez. But anyways, guys, I don't know if LRB is going live tonight or not, so we've been going for almost an hour and a half now. I don't have really anything else to mumble about. I think we covered everything, and there was really nothing I wanted to cover other than dropping the Bruce. But ECS sand was the orange sand I often use at Ryan. What? What's ECS? Why is my brain not working? What's ECS? I have no idea what that is. I searched ECS sand on Google and it's bringing up like car parts. So I will not search anymore for that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for the super chats tonight. Adele, Mike, and Matt. I think that was the 3 that I got. I appreciate you guys. I don't think there was any others. If I missed one, I truly apologize. But thank you guys so much for the super chats. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you had a good one. And try and think. I mean, I will see you next Friday for sure. We'll see how this weekend goes. I don't have anything planned. So if I get bored, maybe we'll do what I call the special live streams, which is like the impromptu. But Ryan says, I can tell you're an IT guy quick with Google. Yeah, just Google. It'll tell me. So, Sherry Fish says, thanks for the stream season. Thanks, mods and super chairs, lurkers in chat. Everyone have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas. Yes, Sherry Fish put it perfectly. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the mods. Thank you for the members. Everybody that's ever super chatted. It's been a great year, but it's not. Wait, is this the last live stream of the year? This is the last live stream of the year. Mr. Fisher said, SC, do you still have the plywood tank? Yes, I do. That's actually... Ooh, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I need to break that tank down and restart it. So that was a plant tank that was just to grow out plants, and then it became a duckweed megaplex. It's like duckweed moved in, the Obama cash rolled out, and they took over. Like, it's crazy. So I need to break that all the way down. I think the only plants in it right now is hornwort. But the thing is, I think there's a ton of shrimp in it. I know there's shrimp in it. I see shrimp in it once in a while when I look through the duckweed. So I need to get the duckweed out, which will be a pain because shrimp are always on the bottom of duckweed. So I need to get the duckweed out, see what kind of shrimp are in there, because it was orange shrimp. I bought off another hobbyist. Somebody was selling them online. I said, I'll buy some shrimp from you. Like, I'll support you. So it was orange shrimp. So I don't know what's in there. There could be orange shrimp. There could be red shrimp. There could be orange rillies. I don't know. I can't see through all the duckweed. I see the bodies here and there once in a while, like not like dead bodies, but like shrimp. So I want to do a video. I think what I want to do is take my GoPro and mount it to the rack above it, so that way you guys can see straight down as I kind of like work through the mess of duckweed. And but I need to break that down because I want to get all the duckweed out so I can start using that as a grow out again. Like, or I might turn that into a frag tank, because that's basically what it is. It's a frag tank. It's really short, but it's long and wide. And maybe I'll get that going as shell dwellers. Ooh, crap. I could do as a shelly tank. Oh my god, that'd be so sweet. I wanted to shell these. Oh, guys. Okay. So, I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I might start on it tonight. What time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm drink some more coffee. I might go start on that tonight, because now I'm kind of excited thinking about shellies. And I always want shellies, and that'd be a good shelly tank. It's a big footprint. It's super big. It's not very deep, but it'd be super sweet with some shellies. It sucks because it's only top-down view. There's no viewing panel, but it's not very, I mean, like I said, it's only like 10 inches. But some shellies would be super sweet in that tank. Yes. Alright, so the 30 of you that are still here after hours now, I think I'm doing a shelly tank now. So I guess I'll record a video of cleaning that out, and I'll announce it to the channel that I'm doing shellies. Shellies are available through the wholesaler, so I think I'll be ordering some fish here very soon. But I gotta get that duckweed out. That duckweed's killing me. So I need to break that down. And last time I saw, it's got like 3 foot by 3 foot of hornwort. It's got a ton of hornwort in it. So I gotta figure out what to do with all that hornwort. If anybody's local to Columbus and you want some hornwort, holler at me and I'll give it to you. But yeah, I really want shellies. I don't know what kind of shellies I would do, because there's, there's the multis, there's the coddles. What are the other ones? There's like a list, like on the wholesale list. There's a bunch of different shell dweller type cichlids. The multis I think will probably be the ones I start with, just because it's kind of like the beginner shelly, like the easy ones. I've never had them, so but I don't know. Drop a comment if you guys have a suggestion on some shell dwellers. But thank you everybody for being here. I got some. Ryan says OFR needs some for the pond. So speaking of OFR and plants, there is a project. I don't know if they mentioned this at all, so this might be your inside scoop. There's a project that's involving plants that I'm going to be involved with, and it's a fairly big project, and it's going to involve the monster pond. So Josh wants to get more plants involved in the filtration of the rescue. So they got hundreds of thousands of gallons now, and the problem with the monster tanks is you can't have plants in them because they get destroyed. So to combat nitrates, they have to do the water changes. So they're on like a constant drip system. They're constantly putting in fresh water. Well, they can technically try to lower their water bill if they have lower nitrates, because then they don't have to change water as much. By the constant drip, they can lower that amount. So they're going to, well, there's plans, and I will be doing some plant work at OFR, and that's, I don't know when. So that was when Josh was here on my birthday the other weekend. We talked about it and about what plant I recommended, because there's one plant that I think will do good in that pool room, because there's not going to be lights on it, so it's going to be skylight only. So I have a plant that I think will work for what they want to do, and it's not like, oh, we're going to put some plants here. They're actually going to build. Well, the plan is they're going to build something, and it's not just like building something for plants. It's going to be plants, plus it's going to add a really cool effect to the pond, the monster pond. So there's going to be some cool stuff. Ryan says, if it wasn't for OFR, I wouldn't be here. That's pretty much the whole channel. Everybody comes from OFR because they mentioned my channel, and people are like, who's SC Aquatics? Like, let me go check him out. So, appreciate you being here. If you got any fish friends, holler at them, let them know about me. I appreciate it. But, yeah, so anyways, guys, it's been an hour and a half. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll go live tomorrow when I work on this Shelly tank. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited now, so I shouldn't start on it tonight, but I kind of want to start on it, so we'll see. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. It was fun. And I'll see you next Friday. If I don't, for whatever reason, 2020 sucked outside the world, like outside of the channel, but in the fish fam, 2020 was awesome. I appreciate you guys. So